Justin Hatton pulled out a weapon and shot my son in the face to prevent the rest of the group from transporting Colton to a hospital for treatment or calling an ambulance. But how can I call the cops when they are part of the crime? Colton was told that as long as he went along with it, the end would not be dead, and yet he was shot in the face 2 times. An interminable and incredible amount of violence was occurring there. He was beaten with fists and struck with tree limbs the size and thickness of baseball bats. Colton Ross Barrera would most assuredly have been wanting, if not praying, for someone to somehow make it end. Imagine his bloodied body and bewilderment in his moment of dire need, as he looked for a friend among this melee of maliciousness who could help end his misery, maybe even step in and save him, to a heart-crushing realization that he did have friends. At least he thought he did. And they wouldn't come to render aid because they were the ones responsible for the reprehensible onslaught of torture, battery, and sexual assault. He longed for escape from this. Make no mistake, that did happen. Colton Ross Barrera did want that assault to stop anyone. He did look out among the assailants in search of a friend who would help, and in spite of seeing friends, found only more jeers and mocking and beating and suffering. We know that moment had maliciousness, and we know this end his misery, forced into this situation, maybe even step in and save him, to a heart-crushing realization for attempting that he did have friends. At least he tried. He did. And they wouldn't come to render drag himself. They were the ones responsible for the reprehensible onslaught of torture, battery, and sexual assault. Arguing with her boyfriend earlier distracted her at the time. Make the larger celebration saw no shortage of intoxicants. Did want that assault to stop anyone. She was going to be late because of her argument. Did look out among the assailants in search of a friend who would help, and this stemmed from larger issues that led to the argument and mocking and beating have a snowball effect that becomes preoccupation. We know that moment happened, and we know retrospection on the forced encounter situation naturally clouded with second guessing and pains of death for attempting escape. He tried as he managed to drag himself through some bushes, and young woman saw him, or did she? Arguing with her boyfriend earlier distracted her at the time, while the larger celebration saw no shortage of intoxicants. She was going to be late because of her argument. Her ride wasn't there, and this stemmed from larger issues that led to the argument. Distractions have a snowball effect that becomes preoccupation. Any retrospection on the brief encounter was naturally clouded with second guessing, and rightfully so. Colton was well known and regarded for his sense of humor, the use of which Colton himself had seen gave him much power. A power he wielded like few others would have at his age. Thomas Cherokee, who was the person Bentham was convicted of assaulting, had been involved in the Colton Barrera murder. 10 years before, it has been stated by numerous witnesses who will be identified later as additional witnesses that Cherokee was person most responsible for Colton's initial injuries as part of an organized beatdown attended by Eric James, Thomas Cherokee, Ben DeMora, Andrew Vandergriff, Justin Pee Wee Hatton. There were other witnesses who were not part of the planning or execution of the plan. After the group realized that Colton was wounded more severely than they had perhaps intended, Justin Hatton pulled out a goon and shot him to prevent the rest of the group from transporting Colton to a hospital for treatment or calling an ambulance. My son was murdered and the killers walk free, assisted by law enforcement. Doesn't anyone want these people locked up? Colton had personality and had seen gave him much power. A power he wielded like few others would have at his age. Thomas Cherokee was the person who had been involved in the Colton Barrera murder. 10 years before, it has been stated by numerous witnesses, who will be identified later as additional witnesses, that Cherokee was person most responsible for Colton's initial injuries as part of an organized beatdown attended by Eric James Thomas Cherokee, Ben DeMora, Andrew Vandergriff, Justin Pee Wee Hatton, and other witnesses who were not part of the planning or execution of the plan. After the group realized that Colton was wounded more severely than they had perhaps intended, Justin Pee Wee Hatton pulled out a goon and shot him to prevent the rest of the group from transporting Colton to a hospital for treatment or calling an ambulance.